Yes. And if the video stops, which this one should in about 20 minutes, call me over. I'll just be on the other side of the room.
Hi, Nick. How old are you?
I'm 16.
16. And when did you move to Lincoln City?
August.
August. So it's
Last
been
year.
kind of a little while. Like you've been here
Quite a bit.
for,
Like,
it'll be a year over summer. And you moved here to be a Sammy?
yeah.
Like, little thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. Really impulsive, but I'm glad I did it.
Well, I'm glad you're glad. When did you first realize that you were bi?
Probably, I don't know, I don't think I ever actually realized it. It's just how I was. I really didn't know there was a label for it until people decided to stick one on me. Just kind of like who I like. And some people have a problem with that. I don't understand why, but I like who I like, I don't know.
Was it hard telling your parents?
Yeah, they didn't really, kind of. It wasn't really a surprise. I don't know, my mom is, she's a Christian, so is my dad. And so it was hard for her at first, but now she kind of has talked to me about it, and she says that love really isn't something that we should condemn each other for. So we're getting along way better now. When it first came out, she was really upset. My dad was just cool, because he already knew, apparently.
So you said your mom and dad were Christian.
Yeah.
Were you raised that way, or do you have any religious
Well,
views of your own?
I was raised in a Christian family. I don't really believe anything in particular now. I like a lot of the morals and guidelines that religion has to offer, but I don't like religion in general, because there are just so many parts of it that I don't know. I feel like it's not really my place to say that one belief is true, condemning the rest of the world's population. So it's
So you said it was difficult for your mom when you moved out here.
yeah.
Is she more supportive now?
Oh yeah.
I know your friends and other family supportive of how you...
Oh yeah.
Hang on, Nick. Sorry. Goldie! It's shut off.
That was 20 minutes.
No.
That was 20 minutes.
I was gonna say, wow, am I
Because it just
sleeping?
clicked.
Wait,
You're like,
no.
that was the fastest 20 minutes of
I
my
was
life.
gonna say, I am like sleep talking.
I went through a time warp.
I probably sound like I'm really stoned, but I'm just so tired.
I didn't get much sleep last night either, so I feel a little punchy.
This is not anything weird, it's actually a heating pad.
Nice.
I stuck it on my face this morning,
Because you
and
were cold?
no, well yeah, and it
No,
ripped
but
off
yes.
some of my eyebrows.
Okay, let's
Oh,
I didn't
That's
know.
unfortunate.
And it was?
no. Some people pay good money to go have their eyebrows
I
waxed.
know.
I don't.
I
like,
do.
So
Costs like
wait,
$15.
I don't look like
Are
Chewbacca.
we working again?
I had a dog
Just
named
tell-
Chewbacca.
Really?
He died. My mom ran him over.
Card
He's a
is
Pomeranian.
full.
I loved him.
Zach!
That just, I mean, it's like,
Normal life.
Okay, tell me if it clicks off again.
well, we're just going to keep our
Is
fingers
the
crossed.
battery and the card good on
Yeah.
this?
Yes.
That's
For
all
now. Give it 5 minutes.
good.
It's recording, so.
Is this one empty, or is it just?
I don't know. I don't really.
Okay. Well, it
Here,
looks like it's going to
besides
record
the
for the
fact-
next 20 minutes. So.
Wait, I just made a bunch of really ugly faces at the camera. Can you not put that in there?
So, sorry, I'll just continue. So, when it was hard for your mom, was it and you guys were going through a lot. Was it hard to hide your depression?
I didn't really live with my mom. My parents are separated. I had moved into to the house we had been, that I had been raised in since 4th grade. My mom actually took my brother and sister and left because their marriage was falling apart. But I stayed because I had just come out to my mom and her reaction wasn't the best, and so I was really scared and didn't want to deal with that. So I didn't really spend a lot of time with her because it was just, there's this kind of break that happened. And whenever I hung out with my little brother and sister, it made me really a lot happier than I was. So that kind of covered it. With my dad, he worked night shift, and so we slept all day, so I really didn't get a chance to see him. I was homeschooled. So I don't know, there weren't a lot of people around me who could have noticed, so.
So, sorry. How do you feel now that everyone kind of knows that you're out there?
It feels nice, I guess. I mean, I really kind of wish I didn't have to come out. I could have just, liked who I liked and not have it be a big issue. I mean, and also, it kind of just, it affected me so much, all this stuff going on because of the depression I had. I mean, my parents were splitting up. I didn't know what was going on. First year of high school, and I put, I think, too much pressure on. I had to come out and it had to be accepted by everybody, and that really shouldn't have been my first priority. But it's nice now just to have, a level of understanding with people. So, I mean, I haven't gotten bullied for it that much. It's much better than the alternative of being sad and confused in the closet.
So is coming out made your life harder or easier? And how?
I can't say that it's, made it easier or more difficult, because how am I to know what would have happened? It did make it more difficult at the time, but I mean, now the outcome of it is that I'm in a great relationship. I'm really happy, so I don't know. It's, in the long run, I think it was not only my decision to come out, but it was all my good friends and family that just love me no matter what.
So did it make it easier coming out knowing, or almost finding out that people have the same feelings as you did or were like you?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really met that many bisexual guys. I mean, there are a lot of bisexual females in my old town and school. I don't know, I've never really been around that many non-heterosexual men. But just knowing that it isn't like something that's totally awful, as I had been kind of surrounded by growing up, that it was, from Satan, and it was a disease to be gay, and it was something that I'd see on TV and they'd be making fun of it. So I was really confused, but I think there's just so much understanding now. I mean, we're getting past all this ignorance so quickly, and I think it was just more that overall, just knowing that life can suck, but it can also be great, and that's for everyone regardless of their sexuality. I mean, everybody has their own struggles, so this is just one of mine.
And you said everyone has their good days and bad days. What was one of the worst days of your life?
I would have to say probably I was in a really bad place last January, and I actually attempted suicide. And it was awful. I think it was a whole bottle of Advil. It was a candy-coated kind. I don't know, the little red ones, and I can't even go near them, and it made me feel sick now, but I took a whole bottle, and then as soon as I did that, I started freaking out, like, I do not want to do this, what have I done? So then I told my dad, he called the ambulance. I don't really remember a lot of it, but I ended up going home that night, and I went to my mom's house then, and it was really hard for me to see them so sad, and I felt really guilty that I almost could have put them through the death of a child. So that was a pretty bad day.
And is that the only time you've tried to commit suicide?
Well, I mean, I was very suicidal last year. I didn't have any outlets to get my feelings across, or, you know, when I was angry, I didn't have any punching bags or people to yell at. I just had a forest and go in there and yell at the trees. But I think I had 2 suicide attempts, maybe 3. It sounds weird that I can't really remember how many, but I don't know. It was just this giant cloud of like sad and anger that just kind of is over that whole time period, and they kind of all just seem the same when I think back and try to remember what emotions I was going through. It's a whole bunch of loneliness and anger at everyone and feeling worthless. So yeah, it was 3 times that I tried to attempt suicide. Only one of them did I have to go to the hospital, and that was the one in January. I still struggled with a suicidal ideation, and I actually had been talking to a therapist about it, and they had strongly suggested that I go to the hospital to get my little issues worked out, maybe stay there, and after a few days it just got so bad that I decided that I wanted to get help and not be sad anymore. And that was in May of last year. So that's when it started getting better.
And so when they told you that they think that you should go to the hospital, how was the hospital when you went?
I actually thought it was not bad. There are so many like horror stories
Right.
of the mental ward,
Yeah.
the nurses
Sorry.
yelling at you, and the food actually was not awful, which was surprising. But when I got there, I kind of had to wait in a padded room because it was the only room they had open from the emergency rooms, and there's some drug abusers outside yelling, and I just kind of sat there like, okay. I spent the night outside of the mental ward. I was at Providence, and the next morning I was transferred to the youth mental psychiatric ward, and it was nice. It was very watched. I mean, they had cameras in the bedrooms, and there you couldn't like have any physical contact with anybody. But I mean, there weren't that many people. I think the highest point was like 20. The lowest point probably 8 people. And the staff really did try and help everybody. I made some good friends. We weren't supposed to exchange personal information, but I have been talking to every single one of the people who was there when I was there. So, I don't know. They really helped me. I mean, the people there who had been going through similar experiences to me, or as I was, I think that was just one of the big things, because I didn't have any friends. That's really sad, but it's true. So just finding people who made me feel a little less alone. So.
So is there, would you say, kind of a lot of other teenagers that had similar?
Well, I mean, not a lot, but compared to what I had
Compared
before,
to-
there was like 0, and then I went there, and we're all kind of getting over it together. I mean, I met Sammy there, and he seemed really lost when he first got in there, like, dazed, like, what is going on? But, I don't know, everybody, when you're, it wasn't even, it was just a hallway with a bunch of rooms on the sides, and when you're in that close proximity with a bunch of other people, you tend to know each other very well, very quickly. I mean, we sit in circles for a while and talk about our feelings, and it was really weird, but I ended up knowing everybody's life story and talking to them. It was nice finding people, you know, maybe not our whole life story, but little aspects that I could relate to. It was really nice.
So now that you've gotten help and you feel better about it, what's been one of the best days of your life?
Best days of my life. In October, I went to a Crystal Castles concert.
Oh, my goodness. Enough said. Sorry.
And it was pretty fantastic. I got to touch Alice Glass, the singer, and it was phenomenal. She was standing on the crowd and right above me, and it was nice. Oh, this is also my first concert, which is sad, but good.
Your first concert and you got that. Oh my
I know.
goodness. I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, I was kind of like, what just happened? For the rest of the... I'm still getting over that. It was cool. She's kind of my favorite person who I've... Well, I mean, I have met her. I don't know.
Met her enough.
She's my favorite
physical contact.
Interpersonal? Which one? I don't know. I've never officially met her. She's my favorite person.
Right on. So, when you make friends now and you talk to people, how do they react when you, like, if you reach that point in your friendship and you say, hey, did you know? Or, like, I'm sure you could tell, but if you didn't, when you tell them, how do they react?
That
Or-
about my sexuality or my
Yes,
past?
about your sexuality.
I'm
and or
pretty
your
sure
past.
it's not a secret. Sammy and I are walking around the halls, you know, together. So if anybody wasn't aware, I would be very shocked. But I mean, even if they didn't know, it's not some huge secret. I'm open about it. If they have any questions and they're polite about it, I'll answer and talk to them. Also, this is Sammy and I. Well, everybody knew about when Sammy had to go to the hospital, and so when he returned, and then all of a sudden I show up, I think most people could put 2 and 2 together. So, but I kind of, when people ask me what happened, I'm always, you know, there to talk about it. I don't really think it's something I should hide, because it's just one of those difficulties that I faced, and I got over it, and I don't know.
So, I'm sorry. So So your life is better now. Like you're happy.
Yeah.
And you're.
I mean, depression is one of those things where at least for me, it's always gonna be there. It's always gonna be kind of in the back of my head, kind of trying to escape. But now I'm dealing with it so much better, and life is good. It's a lot nicer, and I am able to interact with people at school. It's better than being homeschooled, in my opinion. That was pretty lame. No, life is good. I mean, it's not perfect. There's still bad days, but we get past them and we move on and we live life. I don't know. That's kind of the point of living, I think, is just everybody has their own problems, but getting over it instead of dwelling on it or trying to find a solution instead of just sitting around waiting for it to kind of destroy you. I think that's what has really helped me, because you're not gonna get anything done just sitting there and hoping it's gonna go away. You have to do something about it, and you know, it's for anybody it's an issue that they should make an effort to focus on themselves and their well-being instead of feeling guilty or sad. Talk to people and do things that you love. Focus on the future. That's really helped me because I didn't do that before, but now that I kind of have a way of expressing myself, and I have just a bunch of fantastic friends, it's definitely made a difference on my mood. I'm smiling again. It's cool. It's really nice.
You said you were homeschooled and now you go to Taft. How many other schools have you been to?
Oh right. Like through elementary school,
Sure.
or just okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is my 8th school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Including homeschooling? Or-
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no. If I were to include homeschooling, this would be my 10th, 11th. Yeah. I don't know. On and off my whole life, I've kind of decided, oh, this is a bad school year, I'll get homeschooled. 4th and 5th grade is bad. I had an awful teacher, so my mom pulled me out, and that was a good choice because that teacher was awful. But no, I have kind of trouble staying still.
When you felt the way you felt when you were younger, was it hard to be at school and not being able to sit still quite and like looking at other kids with their friends and how they're acting? Did you feel different or did you notice the difference?
Not really, no. I mean, we were all just kids, and I didn't really care about anybody's appearance until like middle school,
Right,
and
but when you got older.
at that point, nobody knew what was going on. So
Well said.
everybody was confused and puberty, and it was awful for everyone. I'm not the only one who went through this awful, awful point in time. But no, before that it was just, we were kids. I didn't really care what gender my friends were as long as they were interesting and nice. If they were boring and mean, I didn't want anything to do with them, so I didn't.
When you started coming out and people started to accept you or not accept you, did you know that you were going to be different than people expected? Or did you know that they were going to have some people
Well, I
were going
mean-
to have such a big reaction to it?
I mean, it wasn't really a huge reaction to my sexuality. I mean, I don't know. I can't really imagine having preference for one person, that doesn't mean I go out and get with every person I see. It just means that I don't know, I don't even like the label bisexual for the most part because it really depends. It's not that I'm just one or the other, it's just they're neither in both. So, I don't really think there is any certain type of stereotype that people had for me. I hope I didn't create one for anybody else who is gonna come out in the future, because that would be bad. Not exactly a great stereotype.
When you walk around and see other gay couples, I'm sorry, this isn't any of the questions. No, go ahead. Questions. Do you feel just like a normal couple? Like it's.
I mean, when I see a happy couple, it doesn't really affect me for the most part. If they're my friends, good for you. I'm happy that you're happy. It doesn't really. I don't walk around and be like, oh, you're gay, good job.
Yeah.
That would be a little weird and probably freak people out a lot. But I mean, it makes me happy to live in a time where, we can walk around and hold hands and be just like any other couple. I mean, I think the big thing here is not that, gay rights or it's just human rights. I mean, everybody's a human, and I think it's dumb that some people think that they have the right to say that they're better than others, and I mean, it's really tough. But we've gotten so far ahead so quickly. It's phenomenal. So they're not even 20 years ago, if Sammy and I had been walking around, we probably would have gotten very injured. Hate crimes, I mean, that still happens today, and it's terrifying, but for the most part, people are getting educated, they're using their rationality, and...
Goldie!
No, I don't have anything else to say.
Oh.
Yeah, but salt makes you tired.
Oh, wait, what? Okay.
We're talking about drinking pee.
Drinking pee?
What?
Yeah.
Don't do that. You could get...
There's a lot of vitamins in it, though. You can drink
Yeah,
it
but
up
you
to like
could
6
get
times.
ill. You
No, I'm
could
sure you can.
get diseases and...
Do you want me to hit record while we're talking?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Bye, guys. Have fun.
Okay.
So, if Sammy's with his friends, or if you're just chilling at home, is it sometimes hard for you to be alone to think about what was your past, or have you gotten to the point where it's your past and you don't really...
I mean, I definitely think a lot about my past, but I also think about my future. And for me, it's not really, this was then, this is now. And it's just more, I can look back and see how, decisions kind of affected me, or people that I associated myself with, how they influenced me to become the person I am. And it's really interesting because, I mean, even things that happened in the past, they're still affecting me. So I think that's nice. When Sammy's out with his friends, I mean, I'm happy for him that I'll hang out with my friends. It's just I'm not as much of a social person as he is. He's definitely
That he is.
into the large social gathering scene, where I am not.
Where I'm not.
But yeah, I don't know. I definitely matured a lot this past year.
Sorry, I'm thinking back to when you said your dad worked night shifts
Yeah.
and you were at home doing homeschooling. Was it weird for you to be alone? And
Yeah.
not...
I mean, I like being independent. As I said before, I don't like staying in one place for too long. I like being able to rely on myself. And it was nice at first, but it did get really old really quick, and I was extremely lonely. And I didn't know that I was lonely, I just didn't know exactly what was going on.
Mhm.
It wasn't even like due to anything, it was just depression, and it had been kind of building since whenever all the bad things kind of just accumulate, and for me, it just got to a point where I couldn't get past it, and it just on top of me, and yeah, that's why I think I was so lonely, just because there was depression on my head. I don't know if that was a metaphor or not. I don't think so.
Understood. Because you felt like you really relied on yourself and you liked relying on yourself,
Mhm.
do you think that added to the depression of being lonely and having to rely on yourself and not being able to talk to anyone to really get out how you're feeling?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, but it did help me realize that as much as I don't like it, I am always gonna have to look to somebody else, at least, for help or advice at some points in my life. I can't always do it all by myself. So that was a little rough. And I really, really wish I had not only realized it then, but had the resources or people around me that I could trust to talk to. And so, I don't know. I think it was, now that I kind of can see the balance between I can do this myself and then just kind of trying when everybody knows it's not working. And I can be stubborn, but now that I know that I can ask for help or look for advice from someone else who has been through this, or is a lot more wise than I am, it's not as hard because I don't have to carry everything alone. I don't know.
And so now that you and your mom are doing a lot better, can you go to her with these things if you have if you have a rough day, do you feel like you can go to your mom
Yeah.
and talk to her?
Yeah, I mean, we used to be very, rough. It was really hard to talk to her, but now, recently, it's just I can call her up and be like, hey, what's up with you? And she's a 5th grade school teacher, and she'll tell me about her day. I'll talk to the kids. It makes me feel a lot better that I can talk to my family. I can call my dad. I don't know. I don't really call to talk about my emotions, just kind of catch up with them.
Mhm.
And that helps me more than any type of sobbing, emotional breakdown could. Because that would just be weird for me. But, yeah, I don't know. When I have to ask my mom for something, she'll give me advice, and she'll take Sammy and I out to, when she comes to visit, to lunch or to thrift shops, and I don't know, we're just a lot closer now. It's nice. Family is something I used to and still tend to take for granted, and I really know I shouldn't do that because they're amazing.
Do you feel like you have a second family here with Sammy? And his
Yeah,
mom
I
and
really
everything?
do. It's crazy. I feel like, last year, a year ago from today even, I had nobody, and now I just have so many people, and it's really nice. It's really cool.
Well, I think that's all the questions, and I had
Yeah.
other questions, so anything else you'd like to say or advice for anyone who might be going through what you went through, and words of wisdom that got you through that you'd like to share?
Tea is good. So is food, but don't eat too much, because then you'll have negative self-esteem, because you'll gain weight, 'cause that's what I did. I don't know. That was awful advice. Don't listen to me. I eat when I'm depressed. I was 75 pounds during spring break of last year, and it was so gross.
Get on my level, man.
Well, I was also like an inch and a half shorter, and I'm still short. Yeah, no, but that was really bad advice. Nobody listened to me when I talk about food or try to give people advice. Alright. Sometimes I wish I could be Oprah, but that's not.
I feel like Oprah right now.
Yeah,
You guys did a great
I
job.
like Oprah.
Were you comfortable with that?
Yeah, I'm also really tired, so I don't even remember what I said.
Right on.
So that's probably good.
You articulate it very well.
Thank you. I think no, that's not what I think. Am I talking?
Yeah, you're still recording. Just hit. Goldie. They're done.
It's done?
Is my eye nice?
No, they're done.
No, it's all unfocused.
I can kind of see it.
Weird.
Nick's having a lack of sleep moment with the